How is the?
I'm good, you?
Do you know what? Right up until about half an hour ago, I was perfectly fine. But then, I've got that, and I've got a really scratchy throat, and I think COVID's like round two, bitch.
Get a brew and sit your ass down for the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast.
Nice guys of comedy. The nice guys of comedy.
And here are your hosts, real life Northerners, Jack Vincent and Nick Crooks.
They're from up north, gravy and chips. So listen to the words coming out their lips. I said they're from up north, gravy and chips. So listen to these words coming out their lips.
Right? Do you want to introduce the episode as usual?
Yeah, I'll introduce it. I'll give it a good intro, right?
And then 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, everyone. You're listening to the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast with your usual hosts, me, Nick Crooks, and the wonderful Jack Vincent.
Woo! It feels weird because I don't know why, but it feels like we've not had a guest in a while. But we've had a bit of a time of fucking uppery because we were both slammed to the walls with either personal situations with work and stuff, or we actually had a brief time where comedy came back and it came back full force. But now that it's gone, we can actually come back and do this properly.
That's it. We're back doing this now.
Yeah,
that's all we're left with.
This is all we're left with. It is honestly So the timings of everything. We are now recording this. Have we been into the second lockdown for about a week now?
Yeah, it must have been about a week. Yeah.
Came into effect on the Thursday. We're now the Wednesday after. So we're now in lockdown 2.0. Which for me I've not really experienced that much yet because obviously I've been isolating anyway because your boy had COVID, which was fun. I don't know.
Which was fun. I don't know.
Well, I'll be honest. So a couple of years ago, I actually had pneumonia, and pneumonia was worse than it. It was just a really bad cold flu. Obviously, I'm very aware that a lot of people, like my mum's really bad with it, because she's now got it. A lot of people can get it really bad, but I've just been sweating my tits off, coughing now and then, and watching. Although I've been watching a lot of bad films, which they do say it does affect your taste. Literally, I didn't think of that. I was watching a film and I told someone I was watching a film and they went, "Oh yeah, well it does affect your taste." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's quite clever." So I can now officially say I'm one of them people who's watched all of the Twilight films. Don't ask why.
Wow.
I've got a lot of issues with the Twilight films. A lot of issues.
I mean, I've seen it as well, so we could go through some of the issues.
Okay, right. My major issue. Bear in mind, there's gonna be a big spoiler alert in this, right? Okay.
No, whoa. Let's just go back to this. The film is about 100-year-old. So, spoiler alerts, get a fucking grip, alright? Yeah. If you've not watched it by now, she fucks a vampire pretty much all the way through.
No, she doesn't. She only does it in the 4th film. No, I don't even think she does it then. I think it's in the 5th film. It's in one of the films.
5?
Yeah, because it's the 4 books. But
and then it's split into 2, is it?
Split the last one into 2.
Oh, they did the fucking Harry Potter on us, didn't they?
Well, they needed to span out that fucking franchise as much as they could. But my issue is, right, so I'm very aware that it was a teen love story, and I'm very aware of that. And the films make it very aware of that. And I wasn't interested in that at all, mainly because a lot of the people involved I don't really like. You know what I mean? Taylor Lautner, someone buy that guy a shirt because I don't think he wore one throughout the whole franchise. Although if I looked like him, I don't think I would.
Well, that's the only reason they have him in the film. Not because he's like don't mean this to be harsh, but they didn't get him initially because, wow, he's a brilliant actor. They literally went, look, he's a teen with a body.
Yeah, exactly. But the issue that I have is in all of these franchises where there's something supernatural, no matter what the main genre is, there's always a big battle of good versus evil. In Harry Potter, there's the Battle of Hogwarts. There's all these in the Avengers. There's obviously every big film has the big fight scene. And throughout all of this, of watching the Twilight films, the one thing that I really wanted was the big fight scene, especially when they brought in that Volturi or whatever they call him with little Dakota Fanning, who's this woman, this little child who can kill you with her eyes, right? Brilliant. Fucking looking forward to it. And then it gets to the last scene. I'm like, yes, boy. They start ripping some guy's head off, ripping someone from the mouth. I'm like, oh my days, this is what I'm here for. And then literally within 5 seconds go, and it was all a dream. What?
Well, it was a vision.
It was a vision. That's what could happen. Whatever it was, you still didn't give me my head ripping that I wanted because it's all a dream. And I was like, you've built up to this moment. You spent 5 films getting to this moment, and nothing happened.
Well, just the idea of it happened. All right,
No. The thing is, as well, in a film franchise, you need main characters to die because it's part of life. And admittedly, they are dead, but it's part of a good narrative. No, when Carlisle died, I did go, oh, why him? Why couldn't it be someone else? Because he was quite a nice guy. I did say
400 years old or something. He's like, let him be.
Don't get me started with that. I'm very aware that this Edward guy is in the body of a 18-year-old kid. Very aware of that. But he's got the mind of an 109-year-old. But we're okay with him getting with a 17-year-old. We're okay with this, are we? We're okay with
legally.
No, because in America, the age of consent's is higher.
I know, but we're going off our age of consent.
Okay. Okay, so you're telling me you're quite happy if you saw a 109-year-old man and he was going to bang a 17-year-old girl. You'd be like, all right, mate.
I'd go, well played, sir.
No, you wouldn't. Well, actually, you probably would, but then you want your street cred, so you'd be like, oh, this is probably something we shouldn't be doing.
No, I watched them programs though, that age gap love.
Oh, they're weird. Though. Remember that guy who was he was 25 and she was 87?
I mean, each to their own, but I just think, really, come on.
I'll be honest. I may have a penchant for an older woman, but I have my limits.
I mean, there's never a pauper, is there? They never marry a pauper old woman. It's always some. Has she got some money? Yes.
Probably,
all right,
yeah.
Then. Is she on breadline? No. Is she one of them that's in them adverts? An old person is dying right now because it's winter. No, she's never one of them, is she?
Do you know what? When you said the adverts, I was like, yep. And then I went, oh, wait, you're not meaning a MILF in your local area wants to fuck you? Because that's the advert I thought you were going to talk about.
I was meaning, they're never on them adverts,
No, they're not. They're very much someone who has some wealth. But, yeah, no, overall, I wasn't very happy with... to be fair, though, was I expecting to be blown away by Twilight Films? No. Yes. But... Are you telling me you're a Twi fan?
No.
Exactly.
I watched them because I watched it with our lass because she read the books, and the books are apparently better than the films.
Which every person who's ever read a book has said.
Not me.
Have you ever read a book?
Yes.
What film are you going to say is better than the book then?
What film?
Because I've got a number of films that are actually better than the books.
I mean, I enjoy the Harry Potter books, okay?
Okay.
But I really enjoy the films. But I just like films in general more than reading. So that's probably going to be my take on it.
I mean, you're wrong, but it's okay to have an
opinion.
No,
because your imagination is obviously better than anything. But, I would say for me, reading comic books, watching the films is 10 times better than reading the comic books.
I will say that I do find comic books. I'm not a huge for a comic book nerd. I'm not as nerdy as people would probably expect. There are some where I'm like, yeah, the film / TV show is a lot better than this. Although the one that I will say is completely wrong is the comic book that's then with a TV show called The Runaways. Did you ever watch that?
I know what it is, but I've never watched it.
Yeah. See, The Runaways was the first ever comic book adaptation where I'd actually read the comic book before anything. I'd read the book from scratch, and then they made it into a TV show. And I was so excited because a lot of the characters I loved, and then I was like, oh my God, this is shit. Like they changed it completely, and it was barely a resemblance of it. Yeah, there were a dinosaur in it, but that's not that hard to do with CGI and shit. Which, by the way, as well with Twilight, their CGI usage was abysmal. But then I do remember that it is like 10 years old.
Yeah, it's quite old.
It's interesting to see how I'm going to say Batfleck then, but Robert Pattinson is doing now that he's going to be he's been running around the streets of Liverpool being Batman.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested to see how he does on that because again in Twilight it was very, very bad. So, but that's how I've been dealing with lockdown. By the way, I'm currently making my way through the Terminator films. I've got one left. They are also pretty bad.
What?
The Terminator films.
The Terminator films are class.
All right, okay. The first two, yes, hands down, I'll give you that. I watched the third one last night. I'm sorry, but
the third one's average.
No, I didn't. No. I watched the
Charlize
third.
Theron. She the villain. She the Terminator.
Yeah. I watched that one the other night, and then last night I watched the one with Christian Bale. Now, and then I haven't watched Genesis yet with Daenerys Targaryen, but I've watched the newest one, the Dark Fate one. I watched that last year in the cinemas.
Is that the one with Sarah Connor, original Sarah Connor? That's the only one I haven't watched.
See, that's the reason why I watched them all, because me and we've had him on the podcast, James Bays, we were doing a class, we were doing one of the ultra classes that we were doing, and afterwards he was like, I want to see it, do you fancy it? And I said, I've not seen any of them, but yeah, sure. And I went, no, you really do need to watch them to understand. But then I did some research, and this newest one ignores number 3, 4, and 5. It only takes into account number 1 and 2. So that's what I watched number 1 and 2, and then watched that. And I feel like it's a good film only if you grew up watching the Terminator films, because there were a lot of references to like die-hard fans, whereas I was like, yeah, but I only watched this last night, so it's like, to me, I don't have that nostalgic feel that you have.
Yeah.
I only watched it last night, so
yeah, I only crammed 80s films in last night.
Yeah,
I totally bypassed them. Well, like my childhood went past, and I did not cling on to any films.
Yeah, like my sister, she started to watch the MCU films like as after the most recent one. She started binge watching them, and when she got to like Endgame and Infinity War, she was like not really that phased. And I went, but the thing is, I watched these for 10 years, so to have them films at that moment, that meant a lot more to me, because I was like, I'm invested. Yeah. Whereas you've just watched it over a month, so you like, yeah, of course they're gonna get together, because they were fine by themselves a month ago. I'm like, they were 10 years.
They were 10 years ago. You know nothing.
It's like, as well, not very similar thing. Have you ever watched the TV show Pretty Little Liars?
No, but I know what it is.
Okay, well, my best friend got me into it, and I was gripped. It's basically a murder mystery, but it's a teen drama, and it was overall, it's a horrendous show, right? But I watched like the first 5 seasons as binge watching, then started watching them week on week. And then when they revealed who this big killer was, I was fuming. But I said, I'm so glad that I did not watch this for 6 years to then have that, because then I'd be fuming. I feel like if you actually invest time into something, then you get pissed off or you have an attachment. But if you just binge watch it in one go, you're probably not that bothered. Like, yeah. I feel like if I watched Lost now, never watched Lost, I don't think I'd be as pissed off as other people, because apparently the last season was a letdown.
Yeah, well, it was all a dream. It was all a dream.
I mean, I did just say I hadn't watched it, so thanks.
Oh shit, sorry. I actually feel proper bad now.
Oh, okay. I mean, I already knew.
It wasn't that. Just Oh, so you just made me feel proper shit.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Lost up until the part where like it came really shitty. Right,
okay.
So the polar bear thing happens in like season 1, and you're like, oh my god, why is there a polar bear on there? Jesus, what's going on? And then like when there's the whole thing where they got to keep pressing that button to stop that plane.
I haven't watched it, by the way. I haven't watched it. So what you're talking about, I've got no idea. I just know it was a dream.
It gets to a point where it just phases off for a bit, and then you sort of catch it on TV, you know, and other bits, and then like, oh, maybe it's picking up again. But then I was just like, I'm too far gone now.
There's only been 2 bits of references that I know about Lost, and one was I knew about the polar bear, and the only reason why I knew about the polar bear was, did you ever watch that TV show called My Wife and Kids?
Yeah, with the the black family.
Yeah, and there's a bit in it, and she's obsessed with Lost and starts talking about the polar bear, and the dad's like, "Why is there a polar bear?" And she just goes, "'Cause it's lost." And I was and not knowing anything, I thought that was quite humorous.
Yeah.
And then the other one was like one of these TV shows what's like the most emotionally gripping scenes, and there's this bit where they're all in this bunker and it's flooding, and they're all like, well, someone needs to stay behind, but we're not going to do that. And then the guy from The Hobbit is like, yeah, lets them all leave and then closes the door behind him and then presses this button so they can all escape. And then there's like this bit where there's like holding, and that's all I remember. That's all I know. I may have made that bit up, by the way.
No, I think that the bunker that you're on about is the one where they have to press the button.
Yeah, and everyone's like emotional about it. So, but yeah, that's literally my knowledge of Lost. But I feel like I would be more emotionally attached if it's like a relationship. If you invest more time into it, you get more upset when it ends.
Like I've watched Walking Dead since the start. Now, if it got to the end and he just woke up in the hospital.
Oh, do you know what though? I started watching The Walking Dead. I binge watched the first 2 seasons, then watched it week on week, and I stopped watching. Spoiler alert: when the tiger died, that season, whatever season that was the one that I've stopped watching and need to catch up on. And even now, if they said it was all a dream, I'd be fuming.
Yeah. If it was literally like, oh, it never happened, you're imagining it, you imagined it all in the coma, I'd be like, what?
Imagine though, like if you woke up after COVID and it was all a dream. I mean, that'd be pretty cool though, because then you'd be like, oh yeah.
I mean, if I woke up tomorrow and COVID never happened, I'd run down the street naked. Just be like, woo! And no one would know what I meant, because obviously it'd just be a dream.
I was about to say,
they'd be like, what's he doing? I'd be like, COVID's not a thing. Woo!
Oh, that'd be well weird though. Like, I was thinking about this every day. It's become such a normal part of life now. Like, I think even if they made a vaccine, which they apparently have, and it eradicated the disease, there would still be people who would be sanitizing like their hands at any given moment. And I think people would have there'd be certain people anyway who'd have a much bigger impact on cleanliness and stay the fuck away from me. Which, by the way, I'm happy with. Like, stay the fuck away from me. Keep distance. But I think just leave me alone. I don't like people. As a comedian, don't really like people.
I think as a British culture, we should have been quite good at social distancing anyway. Because if I get on a bus and there's an empty seat, then I'm always sitting in the empty seat. I'm not sitting next to somebody if I don't need to sit next to somebody. One
of the best things that I've had is on public transport. I've not used public transport in a good couple of weeks, but they had this thing, especially on trains, where they weren't like stopping you sitting on certain seats, but on the 2-seaters, you could only sit at the window seat, and if someone was sat there, you couldn't sit on the aisle seat. I fucking loved that. No fucker came near me. Brilliant. My friend, when we put on outdoor gigs, my friend was like, yeah, I'll happily come, because no one's near me. I'm happy with that. Leave me the fuck alone. I've had people get invested in comedy purely because they're sat nowhere near people anymore. Now, when you start putting them back together, they'll be like, oh no, let's leave this fuck alone. Let's go back to watching the Netflix specials.
Let's go back to watching the Netflix special.
Which, by the way, I realised this. You've not enjoyed my nice sign.
I am, but I've been looking for my name and I just can't see it.
Well, I don't know how big I am on you, but I'm not going to lie. When you said I'm ready when you are, I literally said, give me 5 minutes. I was like, if I put this up, he's going to want to know where he is. So I literally
I can see myself now.
Yeah, you're there.
I'm like, I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen. Like, you can see me where I'm pointing. I'm above Peter Brush.
Yeah, you're there. My favourite thing, though, is, and this is, I've been using this as kind of a thing I've been saying on stage, but my favourite thing about this sign is that obviously I've had some really good names come onto the club, and I didn't particularly want to hide anyone. So, like, obviously these sort of names here, I didn't really want to hide them. So, for example, that one there, that just says Yamam. That one is Gavin from Autoglass. just thought I'd put him in for the British folks. That one's Pixar, as in Disney and Pixar. And then somewhere on here is Harry Potter. I thought it'd be quite cool. Oh, and then also there's somewhere, I can't remember where it specifically is, but there's my mum's name. My mum doesn't do comedy, but oh yeah, there she is. That's my mum's name there. That was a nice surprise for her when she came to a gig. She was like, "Oh, it's really nice." I was like, "Yeah, you're on there." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, because you're up doing 5 minutes, mum."
Imagine your mum just comes on and goes, "Well, working in a prison's tough," and then just like rattles all this fucking prison.
Could you imagine like this deep dark thing that she's always wanted to do, but never? And then one day it comes to a gig and was like, "Oh, I could go up and do 5," and I go up there setting her up, and then fucking destroys the whole room. That fucking love that. Fucking. Although weirdly enough, when she came down to a gig we did at the 6 Acres where we had Scott Bennett on, and she laughed and then said something, and all Scott Bennett could do was just take the piss out of her. And I was like, oh my god, I think it was taking the piss out of something like, oh, she could be a bouncer at a swingers club or something. It was all irrelevance. Like he didn't randomly just say my mum was a swinger. Like there's a reason why he said it.
Imagine if he didn't randomly. Imagine if it wasn't random. He just went in and went, "Oh, I've seen you before. I remember them keys anywhere."
Oh, please don't. This is but the thing is, I was sat there at the back of the room going, oh, if only he knew she was actually a prison officer. And I went, my mum loves to tell people about her job. I really fucking hope he didn't ask her, because then she'll just sit there yammering on about how much she's a fucking prison officer and all this stuff. Like, mum, just pipe your fucking pipe down. But no, so this is my nice sign. Although I've ripped it a couple of times because it's surprisingly hard to put up. Although, again, when I was before or after, and I was like, oh, I'll put a nice little background, because normally I don't have anything there. That's been nice, quite a nice little setup. I thought it'd be easy to put up whilst wearing a towel. Yeah, it wasn't. So at one point I was having to wrestle putting that up, it falling on me, and then also wrestling, like, keeping my towel up. And I was like,
why though? You live on your own. Like, why is that an issue?
So then I was like, why am I doing this? So I thought, fuck it, I'll let the towel go. But if you'd like to notice that just next to this is my window onto a main street, and I didn't realise this was open. So the neighbours over there, they definitely got a good glance at the junk.
Oh, sure.
They got a good old show. But yeah, we've so there. I bought it, and then obviously fucking Boris was like, nah, mate, go back into lockdown. So anyway, how's your second lockdown been?
It's been alright, to be fair. I've not done it. So,
because in actual fact, like you said, you came into contact, so you actually had your own time of isolation, which you haven't had before, have you? Because obviously you've been working.
Yeah. No, well, I did do at the start.
Yeah, because you worked very well actually for a while.
And then, no, after that, nothing. I've just been hard at work.
Oh yeah, because you're one of these people that even when you're not at work, you do a little project, like you do your little stuff, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, what have I done What have I done while I've been off? Oh, I've tidied it. Well, to be fair, I've not done much. I've tidied everything up. I've got my little streaming corner set up.
Oh yeah, you actually have started doing your own stream. Let's talk about that. So, because I see it pop up now and then that you're streaming through Facebook Live, but are you actually streaming on Twitch as well?
Well, it wasn't working properly. That's the thing.
Okay.
Now, my laptop we've established is shite.
Yes.
Okay. So the CPU will not run a stream.
Oh.
It goes from like 60% to 100% in a matter of like seconds as soon as the stream starts. So even when I put it on the graphics card or whatever, I try and 50-50 it still goes to 100%. So like the laptop is like a steam engine.
Like, I think I can. I think I can.
Yeah,
I think I can. Oh, I can't.
And that's what it does. And then it'll do like 2 minutes of it, and then it tries to do it, but the sound's just not there. So I've ordered a PS4 camera.
Oh, okay.
So I can do it straight through the PS4.
See, because PS4 have that share play where you can stream directly to Twitch.
Yeah.
And I've done that before, and I actually did a test the other day. But you have this whole it has this whole thing on the sides of it in which it's all stuff like their inbuilt stuff, and it just didn't look as good when I did it. So I kind of, because I'm like you, I don't have the best computer, So if it was a case that I did trying to do anything through my laptop, I don't think it'd handle it. Because sometimes when I'm watching YouTube, my laptop's like, help, help.
Yeah.
So like I have contemplated it, but you've been playing. Is it COD you've been playing on there then?
Yeah, I play COD. Like, what's weird is the game is coming to an end because the new one comes out on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah? And I've just got good at this one.
Oh, that's
Okay, like I'm proper killing it at the minute. Like,
yeah.
I'm starting to get decent at it, and I think, why? Why am I getting good at it when the game is not going to be on for much longer? Why? Why can I have been good at it at the start?
Yeah, no, that's one reason why I mentioned a couple of times that I play Dead by Daylight with Philly we've had on before, and the reason why I like Dead by Daylight is because they constantly update the game, but they're always adding to the existing one. They always bring out DLCs with new characters, but they're not actually created another game. So like the controls are always the same. And like I look back and when I first started, because you have a ranking system up to 20, and I remember at one point I was happy that I got to rank 15, and then like now it's I can get to like rank 1 like quite easy, and I'm like, yeah boy, like I actually feel like I'm
Yeah,
good.
boy.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, give me some satisfaction, give me some actual usage out of my my day-to-day life. I've done a lot of that whilst being ill as well, been playing a lot of playing games, and although actually, Mr. Crafty, you might appreciate this. I may have told you, but I know obviously we've not shared it on here because I've not. I also did my own DIY craft project whilst off. Would you like to see some of the
Yes, go on, then.
results?
Yeah.
BRB, because it's literally just there, but I need to take the headsets off. Now, I've only got a couple of them because the rest are all scattered about, but I don't know why I had this idea that it'd be quite cool to do some tie-dyeing, right?
You did some tie-dye t-shirts.
No, you're going to fucking love this, right? Also, I don't think I've washed these, so I don't know how much like the dye could just rub off on me. So basically, I bought a tie-dye kit, and then I bought a bright white item of clothing, but of a whole outfit. So I got a cap, a hoodie, a t-shirt, a face mask, joggers, boxers, socks, and shoes. So this is the, and I did each one like a color, but then if I had extra, then I did them. But so this is the t-shirt, which it's not huge. It wasn't the best effort, but I thought for a first attempt it was quite cool. Then I've got some socks, which just look like really bad pepperoni. I think, like as a vegetarian,
Socks are quite cool.
Yeah, and then now these I did, and I don't see an issue with. And then my friend was like, "It's a good job you're not a girl," because then I did these as the boxers, but the colours obviously are a bit inconspicuous. Some stuff didn't go too well, like the shoes, because of the material, they just dyed purple, like they just dyed them. But yeah, I did them, and then I fell ill, so I've not actually like.
Well, after doing them.
You what?
I got after doing them, like got them out. Oh, they're sick. Oh.
Well, yeah, literally. So I've apparently need to like wash each individual item in the washer on like a cool wash for the actual dye to stay. So I haven't done that, but I don't know if that'll affect things. But then I don't want to wear it and then like sweat a little bit and then dye my pits.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
walking around just dripping with dye.
Yeah, the thing is though, what I will say, it was really fun. I've never tie-dyed. It was never something I did as a kid. It was really fun to do, but then as soon as I did it, I was sat there, and went, now what? Like it's done. I haven't really got, especially because of lockdown. I've not really had the satisfaction of like wearing my garbs.
Wearing my garbs.
Yeah. So although it was the weirdest experience of sat in the bathroom, I didn't want to get any clothes, so I did it in just a pair. I did it whilst just wearing a pair of boxers, tie-dyeing all these clothes while watching a film on Netflix, and I went, "This is a weird thing if I get burgled."
I just launched the tie-dye at him.
Just in the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so that's. I thought you'd appreciate because you are a bit of a crafty so-and-so.
Yeah.
So. Do a bit of tie-dye. It's quite therapeutic. Although I still have some like bits. Also, randomly on my toenail, I've dyed my toenail and I don't know how to undye it. So one of them just looks like I'm constantly bleeding.
I don't think you will be able to until it grows out, will you?
No, that is very true. And I also then realised the other day I was like, oh, I could just maybe like nail clipper it off. And I went, I don't remember the last time I nail clipped my toenails. And then I did
Fucking look at it.
They're not, but I like. Do you cut your toenails that often?
Well, fair. I don't know actually. Yeah, fairly often.
Because I don't. Because when they get a bit big, I pick them. I don't bite my toenails. I genuinely like. I don't even know if I could even get my foot to my mouth. But like,
No, I definitely couldn't.
I just give them a little peel off. You know, a bit therapeutic. My fingernails, obviously, I cut because if you bite them, then you can do too short, and then you're like every time you touch them, you're like, that hurts.
I bite them. Like I
I'm a
bite
big
my
biter.
fingernails. I'm a biter. I can't. There's nothing that can stop it. Even that stuff. I've tried that stuff that you put
Yeah.
your fingers in and it tastes horrible. And I just think it's
Right.
once I've bit it off, I'm free. I'm free from that
You're
bad
free.
taste.
It's not quite how it goes, but I suppose that's one way around it. It's one way around it. Oh, another thing I also
Addiction,
did.
Jack.
It's an addiction. Like they actually have it on the NHS like addiction list. Another thing, as I started doing a jigsaw. Yeah, these are all the little hobbies that I've picked up that I sit there and after I've done them, I'm
Such
like,
a British thing. Like there's fuck all to do. Oh god,
Yeah.
jigsaw here.
well, I'll see if I can turn you round to see my jigsaw because you might appreciate it. Actually, it's an Avengers one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you
I've,
order? Did you order that, or did you? already have
No,
it?
I didn't already have it. I can't remember when it was, but I was just in Tesco's and I saw it on one of the end aisles, and it's like a double one where you get this one and then there's another one that I've not started yet because I don't have enough space. And I picked it up and then I just put it to one side, and then when I've obviously had a lot more free time, I just started doing it. So I've completed Black Widow, Falcon, and Hawkeye on the Hulk. They're all done. I
So
haven't.
you've created the three of the worst part of the Avengers.
4, and I liked, especially Hawkeye, one of the better characters. But then the core 3, so Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. I've not done Thor's bottom half because all he wears is black, and that's fucking difficult.
I thought he was going to say I've not done Thor's bottom half because he has his cock out on this one.
It's just his dick.
He has his hammer out in this.
And then I've done Iron Man, except a random piece here, which I think I may have lost because I can't see it anywhere. And then Captain America is just a lot of blue. So again, it's pretty difficult. And then I've done, because I also watched a video where it was competitive jigsaw doing. I'd like to point out it wasn't because of my jigsaw. It just came up and I was like, well, I'll give it a watch. And I took some tips and I've done all the edges. Because obviously
You always do all the edges first.
Well, I didn't at first because I thought it'd be easier to do like get all the green pieces and then do the Hulk and then get all the red pieces and then do Iron Man. It's a weird sentence saying do Iron Man, but turns out that some pieces when they're red, they can either be Iron Man, they can either be Thor's cape, or they can either be Captain America's shield. So I gave up on that quite soon. Green was definitely Hulk. He owned that.
He owned it.
What
I like is that you said that you've got a missing piece. I would love if I worked in a jigsaw factory. Every time one box came to me for checking, I'd go, "Hey up, see this piece here, Sandra? Look at this piece. Fuck off." There'd just be a bin full of single pieces. Are you taking out the same pieces, Nick? Am I bollocks? The different ones. So not even the company could rectify the mistake because there'd just be different ones from different sets.
I did a jigsaw a couple of years ago, and weirdly enough, it comes with a sheet that if you get your box and you don't have that piece, you can request it because it gives you like a code that you can get. But when I did that jigsaw, I had it on my coffee table for a while because I had nowhere to put it and I wanted to frame it and all that sort of shit. And I had some friends around for some drinks, and my mate like stole a piece and was like, "I'm going to steal it and see if he notices." But I was busy drinking, so I didn't look at the jigsaw piece at all that night. And at the end of the night, she like gave me a hug, say goodbye. She went, "Oh, and there's your jigsaw piece." And I was like, "So you hid it?" And then just gave it back to me.
I would have destroyed it. Like I would have proper destroyed the piece. I'd have been like, no way.
I am literally never going to invite you to my house.
I would have taken the paper bit off the top, and stuck something else over the top, and then put it back in its place. So it looked like I'd replaced the actual piece with another piece from a jigsaw.
How long do you think you're going to be left alone in my house? Like,
well, if you're drinking, I'll be like this, right in front of you as well, while looking at you like.
I'm never inviting you to my house because that would genuinely, I would want to punch you if you destroyed one singular
You'd
piece.
never know. Well, now you know it with me.
Yeah,
But
now
at the time, you'd never know it with me. I'd bring like a little box with a scalpel in.
You need to stop.
I'd cut the ends off to make it look like an edge piece, and then chuck a couple in there, and then you'd be like, "Why have I got so many edge pieces? I've done the edge."
Do you know what, Nick? Do you know when comedy first started back, and you were like, "Oh, everyone's got these gigs and I don't." This is why.
Because I wreck people's jigsaws.
No one likes you. No one likes you. This is why. Because you're evil.
Honestly,
you are no.
you're right, twat. If I worked at a jigsaw factory, every so often, it won't be all the time because you get caught. But every so often, if I were having a shit day, like if my boss were having a go, I'd be like, "Fuck off, Malcolm." And then in my head, because obviously I wouldn't want him to.
Yeah.
In my head. And then when I got back to my desk where I'm putting all the jigsaw things away, I'd go, "Well, you're gonna have a shit day just like me." And then I'd screw up a piece. In fact, I'd eat it because it's solid paper. I'd eat it.
Why would you eat it?
Just to make a point. I'd just be like, "Oh, it's not coming back to you now." And then I'd box it all up and I'd be like, "There you go. There's a piece." Like, I don't know what I'm imagining in these jigsaw factories. Like, because it's clearly made by a machine now.
Yeah.
And just put into a box.
Yeah, a bag and then a box.
A bag, then a box. There's not just like some guy just cutting out individual pieces and popping them in a box.
And he's
like
called Malcolm.
Like little old Jerry or something in a corner. It was about 100. Who's been working there since when I started working here at 13, cutting out his little pieces. Never left. Jigsaw Jerry, that's what they call him.
And he's always that guy as well. Whenever you start, have you ever noticed? I mean, I say when you start a job, I realise that I've started quite a lot, so I might have more experience in this. There's always that person though who, when you're going through training at the job, they'll be like, "When I started here, we didn't have training. They just put you on it, and then you just sank or swam." All right, Debbie. Don't care. Like,
well,
the reason
Debbie didn't sink or swim in the tampon department, did she? Because they'd have blown up, and she'd have. No, you're saying you were doing tampons.
Oh, right, okay. I wonder where the tampon reference just came. I was like,
oh, I remember stuff. I'm listening. The tampon thing is, buoyancy there because they've inflated themselves a little bit. They've added a bit of.
Fucking hell. But the thing is, though, like certain jobs that I've worked in, yeah, when they first started, it was like no training. But like now, they've invented laws to protect customers. Like, I don't know, GDPR, DPA. They weren't a thing then, but then someone's like, "Oh my God, have you heard about this thing called fraud? Maybe we should try and stop that." So they invented things. And you know what? When they invent things, you've got to get trained on them. Welcome to my TED Talk.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Yeah,
you do always get the old, a person that's been working there ages. And they will literally be like, "Oh, this is Susan. She's been here since the company started. She's never left. She's about fucking 89. Is that what you are, Susan?" Yeah, I'm close to that, yeah. And she's fucking teetering on.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, "I like to do it this way because it saves me hands." And you're like, "All right, well, I can just do it this way because I'm about 100 years younger than you, Susan." You know what I mean?
I mean, you just called it 89, so if you're 100 years old...
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Minus
Like, I always exaggerate stuff when I'm...
Yeah, well,
doing that. So...
My favourite thing is, though, like, when you get started a new job and someone start training you, and then the manager walks away, they go, "I shouldn't tell you how to do it this way, but I'm gonna. And this is how I do it." And then they've broken like every single rule that you just got taught in training, which when I started my most recent job was a very thing. Like we had to get taught on how to like pick up boxes and like how to carry these cages full of stock and stuff like that. And then this woman who coincidentally was called Karen, it's not an insult, it was just her name, was like, "If you ever see a member of staff and they're pushing 2 cages at once, you need to report them to HR immediately." My first shift, there was a guy carrying 3, like, "I'm just going with it. I don't give a shit. Fucking sack me. I don't care." And I was like, out of the window. Like, no one gives a shit. No.
If you see 3-cage Darren pushing 3 cages, you better get to HR because it's his last warning and I want him out if he's pushing 3 cages.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no one does. I once heard a quote, and it might have been by who invented Apple. Who's the Apple guy?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs, not Isaac Newton, right?
What?
The Apple guy. It was a joke.
No, it's just funny.
That's the point of a joke. It's funny.
I get this. Obviously, being in comedy, I understand that jokes are tended to be funny. I don't think that going on and talking about Neil Buchanan's sex life is all factual. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you know what? Shall we tweet him? Is Neil Buchanan on Twitter?
Oh, I don't know.
Whilst I'm telling this story, I'm gonna search for Neil. How do you spell Buchanan?
Oh, I don't know.
You should.
I tell the
Why have you
what?
not done? Oh, here we go. Oh, wait, that's definitely not that. That's who came up. That's not the Neil Buchanan. Whoever. Definitely. Oh wait, shit! No, I found him.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him. It's the official. I'm gonna tweet him. He's only got 314 followers, so I'm gonna give him a tweet later. I'll send him a clip of your. Send me a video, and I'm gonna send it to him.
I'll send you.
Send me it, and then as well, like if he replies back, you can use like his quote on your posters.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get that.
Yo, just Jack the editor here. Just let you know that he never tweeted back.
I had a point. I can't remember what the point was.
I had a point to make, but we've
Steve Jobs. That
Yeah.
was it. Steve Jobs, right? So he once said, if you ever want the quickest way to do a job, hire a lazy person. And it's true. Because if I know anything, it's being lazy at work, right? So you give me a task, I will get it done efficiently, but I will find the quickest way to do it. Because I am lazy.
Yeah, but the thing is, I would say that that's not lazy.
It's been efficient.
For me, if it's easy, why do something harder when it's easy? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
What's the point in working hard? Work smarter, not harder. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. I think you've just named the episode. Work smarter, not harder.
I hate when people do that and they say, well, we're not supposed to do it that way. Well, so what? Does this way work? Well, yeah. So what's your issue?
This is my issue, right? So my new job, right? I have been told numerous times, Jack, that's not how we do it here. You know, we do it this way. And I just went, but is my way like more of a hindrance? No, it's but we just don't do it that way. Yeah, well, I do. So I'm gonna do it that way, and we're gonna be okay with it, aren't we? That's why I got fired. I haven't, by the way. It's just, you know.
Now you can just say, oh, though. I just say that way gives me anxiety, so I've got to do it this way. So. Now, I'm not saying all mental health is a lie, because it's not, but I'm just saying that a lot of people, especially in these times, are finding it easy just to say, you know, like the ones that will say, I can't wear a mask because I've got an illness, and then they'll go smoke like a big bifter outside. Yes. I'm like, all right then, you fucking knob.
Exactly. Although I have come to the conclusion recently that my TikTok, of my For You page on TikTok, is just videos of people kicking off about not wearing masks and cute cats. Literally, yeah.
People kicking off at cute cats for not wearing masks.
I mean, if you ever raise your voice at a cat, I've watched a lot of videos and I've now become a cat person to the point where I live in a second-story flat and I've gone, I could have a cat.
That's shit.
Well, I'm more of a cat. I am more of a dog person because I think dogs are more affectionate, but cats look after themselves a lot more. Like I honestly,
whoa, dogs lick the balls.
So do cats.
Just saying. I'm just putting it out there. You meaning like a cat licks itself, keeps itself clean?
No, I mean as well. I also think cats can be a lot smarter. Not, you don't need the word more. Jack, you're an English student. You should know this. But like, I think, for example, like if you put a dog in a house for 4 days by itself and then left a bowl of food, I think the dog would eat it all in one go and then shit itself for 4 days and then almost kill itself. Whereas I think if you give a cat it, the cat would know to, you know, leave some for later and then come back and then it'll have some then. I think cats are a little bit smarter. I mean, they're also the embodiment of evil. They are pure and utter evil. But I hate people too.
I mean, well, the dog would eat all the food, granted, and then it would shit everywhere. But then it would eat the shit, so... That's what dogs do. Dogs eat shit.
Genuinely. Okay, can we not talk about eating shit? Because I'm still quite ill. I don't know if, like, the other day I took a drink of water and then just vomited everywhere. And I was like, oh, didn't know that were going to happen. So I'm very susceptible.
Well, that's
So
usually what vomiting is. You don't go, oh no, I'm going to be sick in like a minute. Oh my God.
No, but like sometimes you can feel like you're going to be, a bit delicate. So you're like, oh, I don't feel too cracking. Literally felt right as rain. And I was like, I'm going to have a drink of water. Took some water, coughed, and then just everywhere. It wasn't as quite as dramatic as that, because to be fair, a lot of it was just in my hand.
You're making it out to be like The Exorcist. You took a sip of water and then you just went, oh, and plastered your walls everywhere.
Yeah, it was literally just a little bit in my hand. But then I was sat in my living room like, what do I do now? And I went, oh wait, maybe get rid of it. Then like maybe just go to the bathroom.
The key thing would have been if you'd have gone, what do I do now?
Oh!
I love how you took your headphones off like I was going to make a noise. I literally did it the most silent way possible.
Well, no, I took my headphones off because I didn't want to. Basically, my laptop is on my jigsaw, and I didn't want to do that dramatically. Pull my laptop and then destroy my jig. I just more care about my jigsaw right now. Jigsaw and tie-dyeing is my new life. I don't have comedy. I just want it back. I just want comedy back. Oh shit! I just knocked a piece off. Fucking hell! Let's just leave the jigsaw alone.
You're already missing a piece because I've destroyed it in the factory. I don't even work at a jigsaw factory, but part of me wishes I did now.
Do you know what? This is it. This is and we'll end on this reveal. The reveal is you don't actually make boilers. You work at a jigsaw factory, and you basically every jigsaw you've seen with my name is going to be delivered to my house. Because jigsaws apparently you buy them straight from manufacturers now. You don't buy them from, I don't know, Amazon, but you buy them from the manufacturers. And then at that point, like, Jack Vincent, let's just take that one little piece. And as well, it's going to be like a piece like Captain America's eye. It can't be like a bit in the background where you can like, oh, we'll just hide that. No, it's got to be a vital piece. And you're like, let's just fuck with his day. You know what? He didn't book me for them that one particular gig. Let's just fuck with him a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, here's a good idea. I mean, if we're ending on this, we can end on this. Here's a good idea. How about an escape room style jigsaw? So like a mystery jigsaw, right?
What the fuck's a mystery jigsaw?
Right. So basically, you make the jigsaw, but you're going to be one piece short. Now, the way to get the last piece, is you've got to solve looking at the page. You know, like them weird things where it's like solve the mystery. And it's got like it's a picture, you know, like on Facebook games where it's like them like mystery games.
Kinda.
Yeah. So if there's like a mystery where you've got to, I don't know, get a code from the picture. Or
okay,
yeah. And then when you've got the clue, you can go on the website and type it in. And if you're right, they'll send you the piece, and you can finish your jigsaw.
So I have to go to an escape room.
No, you've just got the jigsaw and you make it like you would, and then when you get to the end, obviously you're missing like the middle piece, so it's just going to be missing.
Right. So how? And then where is this the code?
So the clues are on the actual jigsaw that you've made so far.
So is it kind of like this is a really basic idea, but like let's say the jigsaw is like a classroom and it's a chalkboard, and you have like 5 + 6 and it says equals, but you're missing that piece, and then I go on to like www.jigsawsnickisaddick.com and I say, oh, the answer's 11, and they'll say yeah, and then they post it out to me.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty shit.
But it's going to be
really
more
want to do it
in depth than just like a 5 + 6. But there's going to be bits of it all over. Like it'll be find the code within the picture, and there'll be like clues to the, you know, it'll say like find the code within the picture. Start with, I don't know.
No. The thing is, right. So when I said I bought a jigsaw, my mum told me, she's like, "Oh, I almost bought you a jigsaw, but it was an invisible one," and I was like, "That sounds like hell." What you've just said sounds a lot more fun than an invisible jigsaw.
See? That's what I mean. So if you it starts with, let's say, the first clue starts with the white whale, right? And there's like a bookcase, then on it would be Moby Dick. And then like the number of the book, on the spine of the book would be Moby Dick. And then there'd be a number. So that's your first number.
Yeah.
There'd be little clues to it. And then to get the last piece, it'd be quite a big piece as well. So the whole jigsaw would be
Yeah.
all little pieces, and the middle piece would just be something stupid. So it'd be like that. You know that sign, like in the middle? That'd be your last piece, like, ha, fuck you. Like, that's it. That's.
I think you've got a new job in jigsaw manufacturing. Fuck everything else off. Fuck comedy. Fuck it. Let's do it. Actually, on that note, then, because like I said, we are going to be wrapping up. Then, where can people find you? But now you can include your Twitch when it comes up and running. Where can people find you?
I need to get my Twitch thing. Right. So, like always.
Oh my God, you've not made your Twitch name something memorable.
No, I have, but I changed it today.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, you need to be a bit more marketable.
I was just gonna have my name, but I thought that's a bit boring. So I went for something different. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram at Nick Crooks Comedy, and you can always find me at Twitter, which is Nick Crooks with comedy without the Y, because Twitter's an ass and doesn't let you have enough letters.
Yeah.
And on my Twitch is called Sneezy Wonder.
Sneezy Wonder.
Yes.
What happened to Cheesy Wonder?
It's taken.
All right.
So
public service announcement: if you are Cheesy Wonder, go die in the Holocaust. That's a bit harsh.
That is fierce. Like straight out of the gate. Like it's taken, so I cannot have it. So that is my PS4 name. Is Cheesy Wonder, and I cannot have it.
Imagine if Cheesy Wonder's like a 10-year-old kid who just randomly comes across this and is like, what? What the fuck? I didn't mean it.
And we get Karen's straight on the comments. Did you tell my son? Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
yes, we did, Karen. Okay, yes, we did. What are you gonna do about it? There's no manager to call. We're the manager.
Well, I am, because I do I like edit. I suppose I can put myself as the manager. But because you basically your job in this is you turn up on Wednesdays.
I mean, I'm the talent. Let's be honest. Look at you. I wish I could have. Where's the screenshot button?
How can I get that changed now? And put.
I mean, imagine next time if I come to if I'm on one of your gigs and there's just a cross. Right, Jack, why is that the only name on there that's stupid black lines?
Fuck yeah! Although I'll let everyone know where they can find me in a minute. I really hope that none of these people turn into paedophiles, because that'd be really awkward, wouldn't it? Like,
or murderers, or any type of criminal.
Yeah, any sort of criminal. Any sort of criminal. Like, I hope none of you, Also, I hope like this guy. He better not turn into a criminal. I'm putting that out there. That's me.
I love how people be watching it going, who's that he's talking about?
So the last one of the last gigs we did when we had this up, when I was about to introduce the headliner, I turned around and we were kind of running a bit of time, so I was like, does anyone even know what my name is? Because obviously I think it's quite a funny thing when you go to a comedy night that you don't really know the acts, especially the MC, you don't always take note of their actual name, or I particularly didn't, not until I got into comedy. And I went, does anyone actually know my name? And it was in a student bar, and this guy, props to this guy for the amount of confidence that he had. He went, yeah, you are Jacko Clubs. And I went, no. And he went, all right. Because I did preface to say my name is on here, which obviously it's a giant name. You can't see it, but it's got the giant name of the club there. But I put myself last. Anyway, this kid was so confident. We did a little bit at the end where him and his friends were all sat together, and we made them all decide if they were the Beyonce, the Michelle, or the Kelly. He was definitely the Michelle by the end. Funniest thing ever, though, I'm going to definitely end on this bit. I said, because obviously no one ever remembers the Michelle, I actually said, coming back, this was a very competent gig that we had. I said, does anyone actually remember what Michelle's surname was? And this girl, confident, never went, Obama! And I went, no.
Imagine if the first lady, an ex-first lady, was like one of the three from Destiny's Child.
I remember as well, I'm definitely going to end on this, but it's a linked story and we'll never get back to this. I remember once when I was 10 or around that age and my sister was about 15, me and my sister once had a massive, huge argument about if Beyonce was in the band Destiny's Child or Mystique.
Who was you rooting for?
I knew it was Destiny's Child. my sister was convinced that Beyonce was in Mystique, and I was like, mate, you're thinking of Alicia Dixon, right? Like, no one even remembers any of the other members of Alicia Dixon, then, of Mystique. Everyone just knows Alicia Dixon. Okay, so I realised that I've gone really into this, and now it turns out that I'm a huge Mystique fan. I can't even name a song. So you can find me. I am available just simply at I am Jack V on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Got some stuff on YouTube. I actually am on Twitch. I am Jack V 1992. But I once streamed once, and then someone commented on it, complimented me, and I got really nervous, so I came off. I was like, I don't know what to do. It's weird. I'm saying, oh, cheers, mate. But there's no one that it was weird. But as always, you can find us on Twitter and on Facebook at NGOC Pod. After this has been recorded right now, I'll actually be tweeting from the NGOC, Neil Buchanan, a clip of Mr. Nick Crooks doing some comedy. If he doesn't reply, it's going to be awkward. Just going to put that out there. Just like when I tweeted David Guetta how you say his surname, and he never replied
because he thought you should fucking know.
I'd like to point out that I knew that how to say David Guetta, but someone at work once said David Guetta, and I was like, it's not David Guetta. But then someone else in that same office once said Ed Sheeran. So
Sheeran, what?
Yeah, exactly. What was a more awkward thing is literally, we were having a conversation about TV shows, and he just turned around and went, yeah, it's like that Game of Thrones episode where Ed Sheeran just turned up, and it was really odd, and then just carried on, and I just went, is no one, are we going to address the fact that he said Ed Sheeran?
No, we're just letting him run with it.
Are we going to and then, like 2 days later at some award show, Elton John said Ed Sheeran, and he thought, it was like, see, it's not just me. I was like, I don't think Ed Sheeran would agree. But yeah, this has been another episode of the Nice Guys Comedy Podcast. Let's stop that fucking recording.
Get a brew and sit your ass down for the Nice Guys of Comedy Podcast.